Well, good evening, Mr. Pink, Director Brennan, esteemed members of the Society, distinguished guests. What a high tribute to the courage, service, and commitment of Helias Doundoulakis. He stood alone and unafraid and in the face of the enemy in German-occupied Greece for over a year. He was put ashore with a .32 caliber handgun, 150 gold sovereigns, a wireless radio transmitter, and a can of olive oil. He transmitted over 400 messages reporting on German activity in that year, and you just saw the results of one of his operations. Pretty spectacular. Given that he was near compromised several times, he resolved to himself that he would take his own life with a cyanide capsule should he be captured, and probably for good reason. Mr. Doundoulakis, we are truly privileged to have you here tonight. At the same time, in Greece, his brother and fellow OSS operative was dispatched. His mission was to interact with 7,000 leftist partisans to turn them into unified fighting forces. They were loosely organized at the time. Part of his mission was to ensure logistic sustainment for that force. He did that through OSS stations in Turkey. He directed their attacks against German troops. He directed attacks against maritime infrastructure and railway infrastructure, ultimately making key contributions to the resistance effort in German-occupied Greece. Both men, interestingly enough, distinguished themselves in exceptional service under the auspices of the British Special Operations Executive prior to ever serving with the OSS. We can be convinced that their exceptional service with the Brits gained their accession to the United States Army and their service with the OSS. Can I get a hooah from my Army partners? All right. They continued their tradition of excellence after the war. Mr. Helias Doundoulakis became an engineer with Grumman Aerospace. He was a key contributor to the success of the Apollo space program, to the Challenger space program, and also to the development and fielding of the F-14 Tomcat. Go Navy. Perhaps his signature accomplishment was the development of the largest radio telescope in the world. This telescope was put into service in Arecibo, Puerto Rico, and remained in service until 2011, operated by Cornell University. His brother George went on to study physics and electronics in New York at a Polytechnic Institute. He developed numerous patents, and after he graduated from Brooklyn Polytechnic, he started a company and put these technologies to the market. Both men are longtime friends and business associates of the former director of the CIA, William Casey. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to introduce Mr. Helias Doundoulakis. I'd like to say one more thing, if I may. Mr. Doundoulakis is accompanied this evening by his loving wife of 63 years, Miss Rita Doundoulakis.
Mr. Ping, Ambassador Montgomery, honored and distinguished guests of the military, field, friends and relatives, thank you for inviting me here today. I am honored beyond words. I can't believe that I am here, 92 years old. I was trained for 6 months in the OSS spy school in Cairo for a period of years, in which just a moment. In school in Cairo, in a palace which happened to be one of King Farouk's palaces. During my OSS mission in 1944, I was the only American soldier for a period of 9 months in Salonika, the second largest city in Greece, a center of disbursement of German forces to various fronts. There I sent close to 400 telegrams to OSS headquarters in Cairo. And I was always worrying if the Germans could locate me. Thank God I was never caught. As you heard before, 15 students we were in the spy school, 7 got caught, and before they died in tortures, they were left with no fingers. After the Germans left Greece, my brother and I were sent to Cairo. And after staying there 2 months in the spy school, which was the palace, we were sent to Washington, D.C., and there to the Congressional Country Club. I said jokingly to my brother, I was sick, we are tired of living in palaces. Now we have to live in country clubs? I asked a pretty lady behind a desk if we were in the right place, if we're supposed to be staying in country club. She says, Corporal, only chosen members of the OSS are selected to live in the Congressional Country Club. And because of yours and your brother's outstanding performance, this is where you are going to stay until you are discharged. My brother whispered behind me, Helias, be quiet. One day you will be wishing we had never left this place. And now a funny incident I know you are going to enjoy. After 3 months of living in that dreamy place, the famous country club which offered all types of games and entertainment, a man-made lake for fishing, golf, USO girls coming almost every Friday for dancing. I got tired of all of that, and I requested to become a guard in the OSS headquarters in DC, in which case I would have been sleeping in a hotel where I heard there were plenty of girls. I was supposed to keep watch at the front of the main entrance of the OSS headquarters, and I was told not to allow anyone who could not show me the proper ID. During the second week, a 2-star general, whom I had not recognized at that time, but later on I was told that it was General Donovan, arrived by car at the front entrance. He walked right in without showing me his ID and went inside. What? I had to stop him. After all, my directions were to stop anyone. Not 5 minutes after that, the secretary in charge came out screaming the hall. What did you do? What did you do? you stopped and asked for a two-star general for his ID. He's a big chief here in the OSS headquarters. Well, I said, my instructions were clear. Do not allow anyone without showing his ID. Yes, everyone but him. In my exciting moment, being sure that I had acted properly, without thinking, I yelled, suppose he was a spy. She started laughing and said, if someone can pick up 2 stars and puts it on the top of his coat, pretending to be a general, he enters this place and he's not identified, then we all deserve to close up shop. In any case, you insulted the general, so you are fired. I have led a very full life, and I confess I owe my life to many. To the Office of Strategic Services, the United States Army, the many uniformed who trained me, to my brother George, who is dead, Colonel John Vassos of the OSS Spy School in Cairo, I owe an enormous debt of gratitude. And not to forget my lovely wife of 63 years, Rita, a debt I can never repay. Thank you.